Okay, when we read about Ray, we see that he has scored points. He doesn't remember how many. He knows a few things about it, and we're going to take that information and we're going to build inequalities around it. They tell us in the first part that they want F to equal free throws, so write that down. And they want G to equal field goals. Now, we do know that these have a value for each of these. What is the value of a free throw? 1 point, and field goals, 2 points. Okay, which conveniently is the same that they are in.
Field goals are 3 points.
All right, so, well, no, those are 3-pointers that are 3 points, but that's another story for another day. Okay, so on part A, they tell us that Ray scored fewer than 20 points. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my 20 over here so I know that I've got that much. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out a sign. So what sign am I going to use here? I need an inequality. Well, it's going to point that way. So, because what we, yes, it's going to be less than, because what we are needing, the points that he scored, we know they're less than 20. We don't know how much they are exactly. That's what we've got to find out. So they say that he scored fewer than 20 points. They said he made some free throws and some field goals. So what is this first part going to look like? Right here. Well, they make us use F, but yes. And remember, you don't have to use the 1. 2G. Very good. Okay, so 1 point for a field goal, 2 points for, 1 point for a free throw, 2 points for a field goal. But we know that whatever that adds up to, it's got to be less than 20. All right, part B. It says that Ray made fewer than 6 free throws. Okay, so free throws are represented by what? Wait, we're just talking about free throws right now. Just free throws. Okay. All right, part C. Now this is where, I'm not even going to lie to y'all, this is where it gets confusing. They tell us that part C, he made twice as many free throws as he made field goals. No, let me read that again. At most, Ray made twice as many free throws as he made field goals. The last equation, yeah, exactly. The last equation is going to read F is less than or equal to 2G. So that's a part for C. Okay, so now we have to take all 3 of these and graph them all on the same graph that's on that problem below. Now notice that we don't have negative numbers because, believe it or not, there are no negative scores in basketball. So we won't be using negatives.
Of course, Ms. Wallace, of course.
Okay, and we probably need to keep us, because it's in 2s, we can keep a all right, so here's my X and Y axis. I'm going to count each one of these as 2, 2, 4, 6, that sort of thing. All right, so the first equation says that we have F plus 2G is less than 20. We're going to have to get that solved for G. The reason that we're going to solve that for G is because G means what? Y.
Why?
Okay, so F is pretending to be X and G is pretending to be Y. What now? No. Yeah, C, we're just going to leave that one alone. All right, so I'm going to subtract F from both sides. I have 2G is less than negative F plus 20. going to divide all things on all sides by 2 so that I can get that G by itself. I don't have to flip my sign because I divided by a positive, but I do need to remember that there's an imaginary 1 right here. So when I do this, I'm going to get, when I do the division, what am I going to get? Negative
10.
Try again. Oh, well, that's the back part. I'll go ahead and write that down. So that's negative. Oh, I just put X. Rats.
Negative X.
Hang on. I just put X. Okay, that's F. And 1 divided by 2 is what? 1 divided by 2. So 1/2. Yes. So the backwards one. Okay. Remember, fractions are okay. We like the rise over the run because we have to graph it anyway. So we're going to need that rise over run. So let's go back and graph that right quick. So that is, we're going to start on 10. That's negative 1/2. So
But won't negative 1/2 divided by 10 equals negative 5?
So here's our first line. Negative 1/2 is our slope. So there, that's what that graphs to be. All right, on our next equation, B, it's only F is less than 6. So what kind of line is that going to be? F is less than 6. So that's X is less than 6.
Oh, straight line. Horizontal. Vertical.
Vertical. Okay, so 2, 4, 6. Just going to put me a couple of dots so I can make a straight line, hopefully. And that is my F is less than 6. I will get to the shading in just a moment. All right, the last equation, we have F is less than or equal to 2G. We're going to have to rearrange that one as well. Okay, now this is written a tad bit backwards, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to flip it around because I want the Y or the G on the left. So when you flip an inequality, you have to make sure that whatever part of the sign right here is pointing at the 2G is still pointing at the 2G when you get done. Like that. Does everybody have that? Because it is a tricky thing to flip an inequality. You got to be very careful with that sign. So now all I have left to do is divide all things on all sides by what? 2. Sounds great. Okay, I did not divide by negative, so my sign stays the same. And then that would be 1/2 F. Okay, so that's my rearranged equation.
Okay, so how would you graph it?
How do we graph that? We're going to do it the same way we do anything else. What's our y-intercept on that equation?
G?
0.
Oh, 0.
Yes, if there's nothing there, the y-intercept is always what? 0. Okay, nothing there.
Go over 2, go over 1, go over.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Now we got lines everywhere. And it's that one. That one's a solid line, correct? Oh, I'm so proud. All right, solid line. Can we graph what? 3 things on one graph. I know it gets kind of confusing, but it'll be all right. Okay, now let's start shading. I'm going to start with the vertical line because that one's easy. It was F is less than 6. What side of the vertical line am I going to shade?
The left.
Very good. I'm going to shade the left over here, trying to make it a little bit neat and not cover up all my lines. Okay, so there's that one. So now I need to shade. Let's start with the with our dotted line, our other dotted line. That equation was G is less than negative 1/2 F plus 10. So where am I going to shade that one? Below. Good. All right. Looks like I've got an answer forming here. Lovely. And the last one, I need to shade. Let's see, it says G is greater than or equal to 1/2 F. So I'm going to shade that one above. All right, so there's that. Now we really are only worried with what area of this graph.
The ones that cross each other.
Okay, Now it is, this time we have to worry about the one that is 1, 2, 3 shades, correct? Okay, so we're going to worry about this part right here that is triple shaded. That's where our answers are going to live. The last part of this problem asks us about answers that would be located in our shaded region. Now, on part C, they ask us to give one that would make sense and one that wouldn't make sense. What would make sense? What types of numbers? Whole numbers. Okay, obviously you cannot, even numbers maybe, maybe not, because they do have that free throw thing thrown in there. But we know that we can't go out on the basketball court and score half a point.
What about you can have?
Okay, so any answers that live in this area are going to need to be whole numbers. We cannot have fractions. We cannot have decimals. What? Answers. I hope I said answers. Well, it's because I'm a little distracted right now. We have any answer in this green shaded, triple shaded area that can be an answer to our inequality unless it's a fraction or a decimal. Those aren't going to make sense in the context of basketball. We can't go out and score half a point or a quarter of a point or, 3/4 of a point or whatever. So it's not going to be every number in here. We have to use our judgment as to whether the numbers make sense or not.